There we go. Hi, everybody. Helena here.
Kelly here.
We are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a business on your terms. And we always start with a buzz in our business. You can see that we actually have a bit of an interview going on scenario with somebody. So I'm going to let Sam introduce herself in a moment. But before we do that, and as we're waiting for people to come in, we want to know, what is the buzz in your business? So pop it in the comments below. But on top of that, what we also want to make sure is that you're actually enjoying your experience of being present. So what that means is, if you're actually here on a replay, do a hashtag replay.
Yeah, let us know.
And if you are not in the Connection Hub, which is where the real conversation happens, then join the Connection Hub, which Kelly's probably put in the link into right now.
Put in the links in as we speak.
Because, and part of the reason that I'm saying that is because actually I'm going to tell you the buzz in our business first of all, but then Sam's going to tell you the buzz in her business. And if you're not in the Connection Hub, you're going to want to be as a result of what Sam says. But that's a little intrigue frame for you. So the kind of order of business, the things that we're excited about in our business right now, I'm looking forward to hearing all of yours, is first of all, 8th of May, hot date for your diary. It's the next Connect and Create Day. It is where you actually come for real, come and work on your business, come and meet some of the people from the Connection Hub, come and meet the people who you might just be doing your next collaboration with. How good would that be? So, and on top of that, you get a little bit of a 20-minute session with Kelly and I, just having a little rummage around in your business and making it a little bit better. So 8th of May, for those of you who can come, we would love to meet you.
In the comments.
Fantastic. Where were you over the weekend?
Oh, I was somewhere very cold. I'm sorry I brought the rubbish weather back with me.
Yeah.
Just got off a plane from Iceland. No, I wasn't in the glacier melting thing that happened yesterday.
Yes, she's
I
still here and safe.
I had a lovely time sitting in 30-degree heat in the Blue Lagoon.
Yes, but did you see the lights?
No.
But you did get to sit in the Blue Lagoon, so it's all good. And it was cold, which is kind of how it works. I, on the other hand, was here in the UK, and I was connected with quite a few of the hubbers at a workshop of Andrew Eggleton's, and that was really quite fun. So some of our change makers actually came in. So we also have the Changemaker Central kind of membership for those who are delving into their businesses. So quite a lot of the change makers were there, and quite a lot of hubs. Hubbers were there, which was really cool. So I basically sat there, and it was like meeting the rest of people, and quite a few people came up. It was sort of mini celebrity moment for me at one point. Philippa came up and she went, "Oh, I just watched you the other day." I was like, "Oh, that's a bit weird, but okay, good," which is really rather good. So,
Rachel's books for the 8th of May, Connect and Create. Good to see you there, Rachel.
Nice. So we like it. So, Sam, I think we probably rambled a little bit longer than normal. So, what's the buzz in your business?
Ooh, thank you first of all for having me on, ladies. Wow, the buzz in my business is I've just started working with a new ghostwriting client, and the client did come from your group, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But the client does not just want one book, the client wants 5 books.
Wow.
So we've set up this 5-book deal, which I am absolutely over the moon with, as you can imagine.
Of course.
Really exciting.
Nice, that's awesome, that's brilliant.
And the thing that I love about the coincidence of things that happen is, of course, that tomorrow we're launching another little new feature. So we're always dropping in new features because we like them, and tomorrow we're actually dropping in a little feature in the Connection Hub, which is around who have you connected to. And that feature, of course, actually started on the back of a conversation that you and I were having, which was the whole, oh, so you met the graphic designer that you're actually now using?
That's right. Yeah. So I found my book cover designer that I use from your group, so thank you for that. I found obviously this new client. I went on to his podcast, and then he just saw what I did, and I want to write a book. I want to write 5 books. And then also I've got a call with another lady from your group. You've just seen, I think, a post in that. Absolutely amazing, thank you.
There was a long feed post about ghostwriting last week, and I know that we said, like, hold on guys, we're going to be interviewing Sam on today, so to add some value. But we see that a lot. We get a lot of personal messages saying, thanks, I connected with this person, I'm now working with that person, they're my web designer, they're my salesperson, they're my book cover. So we want to and put that as a feature in the group, so people can say, oh, I want to connect with someone like that, because that's the purpose of the group.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Speakers, authors and coaches need the professionals that serve their needs, and so that's a special place. So
Absolutely.
now we're making an assumption that most people know you. They obviously don't. So let's actually let you take the stage for a minute and say, right, Sam, who are you? How did you get into ghostwriting?
Yeah.
Why are you so passionate about it?
Okay, so
for some like go down to the basics and actually go, this is what ghostwriting is.
It's not about ghost stories.
That's right. You've took my joke.
Oh, sorry.
Some people have thought before, you write scary stories. No, I don't. Well, some of them can be a bit scary, but no, that's not what it's about. It is a weird name, isn't it? It is a weird name. So yeah, about myself. So yeah, my name's Sam Houghton, and about 2 years ago, I wrote my first book. It's only 2 years ago, but I've always loved writing. So when I was at school, I was into creative English. Teachers were always saying you need to go into this field, sort of thing. And journalism and wanting to write a book were my big things. But then life happened. I went through a lot of trauma things over the years, which is what my book was about. So that didn't happen. However, my story, I started to do some speaking, and my story became really, I just needed to use this to get this out there. So that's what I did. My book went out there. I did publish independently, and huge passion to get it out there. And from that, I had people reaching out who resonated with my story. Can you help me with my book? So that is literally how this has happened. So it feels magical to me, and a lot has happened in the space of 2 years. So I set myself up as a ghostwriter. That was the first thing I did. And I found I had a flair for that, because I love people as well, and why people do things, the psychology behind it. And it feels similar-ish to journalism, is in you're finding out a lot of information, you're then going back, writing that up, but it's got a much more personal side to it. Obviously, it's someone's story, which is what I really love. And I'm so passionate about it because it was these stories I read for years and years that really helped me in my struggle. So I really believe in the power of someone sharing their story, because you can connect to that person. I was always trying to find out, how I could move forward in life. And if I found someone aligned with me, I could try what they did. But even before that, I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel so alone anymore. That's where my heart really is in this. And then I set up as a book coach as well, so specialising in people's true stories mainly, and there's an overlap with sort of self-help within that as well. But yeah, I've done several ghostwritten books now. Just got the new client as well, so that's gonna be amazing. And I've just loved it. It fulfills so much within me. I get to use my creative side. I get to use my logical, quite analytical side, because I had years of therapy. So that's all come in good stead, asking good questions, finding out the information.
Do you specialise I know with the book coaching side of things, you work in that area, but when you ghostwrite stories, do you specialise in the sort of self-help area, or can you take ghostwriting from all different areas?
I have helped people with books outside of that, like other business books. But what I really, really love, is people's true stories. That's my big love. And then quite often they overlap into some self-help as well. Like the books, it's often been 80% their story, 20% self-help. And the new books it's the other way around. So it's more 20% personal story and 80% self-help. But I love that as well, because again, that was a big part of my life. So And I believe in that greatly.
And so before we delve into the ghostwriting completely, one of the things that we love about Sam is the fact that, you know, she has literally built a business on her terms. So, you know, sort of she's a walking, talking example of this. And a lot of us fall into, like, the business grows out of what we actually do, but you've obviously shaped that to how you want it. And so that's part of the reason I appreciate you. And it's great.
Oh, that's really nice. Well, I remember after I'd written my book, I was getting my story out there. I had created a buzz around that. I was doing some speaking events, and I started writing my second book, which is still not happened because I've just had all these clients, which is good. but it is happening. I've written a bit more recently. But what I did was I wrote a course for the people I wanted to help, but I felt that wasn't quite my path. And so I pulled it back and I sat down, and I'd heard all of these coaches talking about designing your life. So that's what I did. I sat down and thought, right, what does Sam really want? I've been a single mum for years. My son's now at uni. I wanted to create a business around that I could work from anywhere from my laptop to give me that flexibility. So that's what I did. And then I feel like the business came to me rather than the other way around. Yeah. And I've just gone with it, and I absolutely love it. I just feel so aligned. And you know when you're aligned, don't you? Because it becomes exactly beautiful flow. Yeah. And that's how I describe about the writing, getting into that state of flow, and then it's easy, effortless. Yeah. But my business has gone that way.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I obviously have a child at university. I mean,
I know, right?
Maybe we should be talking about what face cream you use.
Next question.
Sorry.
Well, thank you. Yeah, he's 20.
So, I know we recommend ghostwriting to a lot of people because some people have blocks, and I know we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
I want to write a book, but I'm dyslexic, or I don't have the time, or all these things.
Yeah.
This is where ghostwriting can be a great solution for those types of people.
Yeah.
And I suggest it to some people. The biggest question I always get back is, but how can a ghostwriter get my voice? How can a ghostwriter get my tone? How can a ghostwriter tell my story when it's so in me?
Yeah,
I'm the one who experienced it.
Yeah.
Could you help them understand a little bit about the process and how it becomes their book?
Yeah.
But it's like having a birth.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I baby for you.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, my last but one client, he read my book. He found me on LinkedIn and he read my book, and he thought, I want to work with this lady because of what she's been through, because he could relate it to his own story. But then he read my book, and then he had doubts because he thought, well, this doesn't sound like me, my book. But then we had a conversation, and I said, yes, but that was my story in my voice. I said, so whenever I work with somebody, I mean, it's an in-depth process anyway. It's a very close relationship, and I'm an empathic person, very intuitive. And so the time I spend with that person, I get to understand that, like I say, I'm very sort of analytical and looking at why people do things and how they are and how they behave. So I pick up on all of that as much as I can. And then I also I joke with people. I say, I stalk you for a little bit, but I don't stalk them. I ask them to send me any writing that they have done. I look at their posts on social media, and I've become that person. And my last client was
like
astonished,
but for writing.
Yeah. And it's like you just embody that person. Right. It's almost a bit like you hear actors and actresses say they become that character. It's very much like that. Become that character. How would they think? What would they say? And and everybody is there. Wow, how have you done that?
Amazing.
Okay.
Where the magic is.
When you might write a couple of bits initially, and then give it back to them and say, is this sounding?
Yeah, definitely. It's always nerve-wracking sending that first chapter back.
It's like first date nerves, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. And it's one thing to write your own story, but to write someone else's, I mean, it's a privilege. It's amazing, but it's scary as well at first. So because you're writing about them, obviously. But yeah, I send the first chapter over and I say, okay, how do you feel? Does this sound like you, as you would? Because obviously it's got to be aligned. And if not, let me know where you want the tweaks and the changes. Are you happy with the flow? Are you happy with the structure? We go through all of that. I take on board anything that they say, and then we just carry on like that. And I regularly send the chapters over. I like to do it like that rather than just going away, writing the book and saying, here's your book. Yeah. Have regular check-ins. Yeah. Because I work in quite a person-centered way as well. So there's ways of doing it, but everyone's individual, aren't they?
Yeah. And I've got a question here from Memoir. So she's saying, great question about ghostwriting. What if you're writing about a niche topic? Will you have to tell them everything they need to write about so it becomes easier? So it actually becomes easier to write it yourself. So say, for example, if there was I know you're sort of specializing really in people's stories, but say, for example, there was an area like, say, for
technical
example,
expertise.
Would you read around the subject yourself to understand?
Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, no one's a jack of all trades, are they? Sometimes I have to do a bit of research, like I will have with this new book. And sometimes you do for someone's life story. So it can be things like looking back on the date. Say it was the date they were born. What was going on in the world at that time? What was the weather like? I've researched areas where someone's lived. I've researched health, like a disability, things like that.
Remember more than me.
Well, I was just
that's it. You know me better than I know me.
I imagine that actually somebody, because they're in it and in their memories, so there's that story of, only I have the memories, only I have the details. But actually, as you coming in as an observer, you might actually supply a whole bunch of stuff that triggers.
Absolutely, definitely do. Because it's a series of really in-depth interviews, which I record, then I transcribe into note form, and then I write from that. It's a long process. But
and I think that answers Memoir's questions. Well.
Oh, okay.
Basically, is it quicker to write it myself than to try and relay this information to a third party? But actually, what you're saying there is the way that you extract it is through a series of interviews, which for some people is an easier way to write a book. They can talk about it in a conversation.
Especially
that's right.
Sort of like, because actually speakers are weirdly, I had a scenario at the weekend where I was asked to kind of think about my stories, and I was like, I don't know how to do that. And I realized that actually what I needed was to say, can you teach me that? And then the story is coming out.
Yes, that's it. You can get in your own way. You can really get. I think if writing comes easy to you, then you may be better to get a writing coach. And I always say to somebody, if they're writing it for like the healing aspect of it, which quite a lot of people are, I would never want to take that away from anybody. And so I make sure it's right for them, because I've been through it myself. I know what it's like. But often it's people who are really busy, who have got no desire to write, or haven't got the know-how. Just, the passion's just not there, but they want the book. So no, in that case, it's much quicker to get a ghostwriter.
I'm going to refer back to...
I told you this would be a juicy one.
We did an interview with a guy called Chris Day, who's one of the publishers that we work with, and interview, if any of you are watching the Connection Hub and are recording, it's the best way to publish a book, or best route to publish a book,
somewhere in the 30s.
And what his advice was for lots of people who are coaches or speakers is that their first book should be more of an autobiography. Second book is then going to be the book which has their frameworks, their IP, their stuff in there. Get their first book out there and get known. So actually, you're the best person.
Totally agree.
First book with. The other one's more of a methodical how-to guide with all their.
That's right. That's right.
Made a really good link that you're a really good person to do that interview. Stories out of people.
Completely.
I'm very good at getting people's stories out. I've always, wherever I am, at a bus stop, in a cafe, I naturally gravitate people to me, and they just start telling me their life story. So there's obviously something in me that brings it out. But I totally agree with that. And I say that because up to now, everyone's been a business owner that I've ghostwritten for.
Right.
I've had inquiries from people who are not.
Yeah.
And I say to them all, if they come to me and want to do a how-to book, I'll really get them to think about it. And I'll say, well, actually, your story is probably way more powerful than a how-to book. Because people are going to connect with you. Yeah, it's that person to person. It's exactly what happened with mine. And that's what excites me for business people. And they don't seem to get that.
Yeah.
But there's so many how-to books out there. And I will say your best asset in your business is your story.
And that's what we teach, right? You are the part of your business.
Exactly.
Work on that. See, another reason why we're aligned.
I know. So one of the things I definitely say a lot is, work with valued people. So there's like-minded, but actually like-valued kind of comes from in that space. And I think you demonstrate that really beautifully. So I just want to backtrack a minute and kind of go, okay, so if I was thinking about ghostwriting my book, and I've kind of got some of those worries about but only I've got the memories and everything else. Yeah. What's the actual process like? So do we have like a first conversation that's even about, do you take this person on or not? Is it a good fit? So how do you choose who to work with? Because obviously once you're, it's an in-depth process, right?
Very, very much. Yeah. So have the initial chat with somebody. So that could be in person or via Zoom. Find out a bit about them. I always want to know why they want to write the book. What's their reason? Roughly what their story's about. And manage their expectations, like how soon do they want it. If they turn around and say I want it next week, I'll be like, I'm going to be struggling with that. I write quite fast, but I'll be struggling with that because obviously it's a big thing to take someone's story from them. And then after that, if we fit both ways, feel like it's a good fit, then we have the initial call, which is quite like I suppose a coaching call where I ask a lot of questions, but more about not so much going into their story. That's more about, I treat a book like a business, as in who's your ideal reader, because that can really determine how you write in the book.
The average reader gets into this one.
Yeah, it is.
What's the outcome you want for your book?
Right.
Have they got any real big vision? Because like some people come and they're like, it's got to be a bestseller, or I want to see it in Waterstones. Find out about that side of things. Find out what their main message is through the story. Find out the sort of, there's ways of writing the book as well, as in, do you want it as a reflective story, like you're reflecting back? Find out all of that sort of thing. And then only after that, when we've got all of that information, do I then go into the actual story, where I start the interviews. And I go a lot with instinct, but then I plot out, literally on big piece of paper, map out their story. And then once I've got all the information from the interviews, I then structure that into chapters, etc. And that can change as I go along. And then I start to write, but all the interviews are recorded on Zoom, or sometimes it's been in person, which is really nice. And then from those notes, I then write their story, and then just regularly check in with them, like I said, chapter by chapter, until the manuscript's written.
I can imagine that.
I'm like, come on, ladies, it's great.
You too.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Bog off. Hilarious.
I want to get one free, right?
Brilliant. Right, back to the interview.
Okay. So again, back to techie type of questions. So now I think you put their mind at rest, right?
I really do.
The process, the fact that you keep their voice, that it's their story, and you probably will enhance it.
Yeah.
Where do we stand from a legal point of view? Whose name goes on the book of the author? Who owns the copyright? All these types of questions that people go, but.
So at the start, there's a contract. I have a contract which I've had legally written out to protect everybody. So all the terms and conditions are in there. The book belongs to the client. while I'm writing it, the content belongs to me, but until when it's finished and it's all signed off, that's it. They pay me for a service, that's it. There's no royalties, no anything. So the copyright's all in their name goes on the book. And in the true sense of a ghostwriter, you are generally hidden, you're not known, which is great to do this, because it's quite a hard business to promote. Yeah, because you're invisible. But the last but one client, he, bless him, we met in person. He's a speaker, inspirational speaker. He was paralyzed 25 years ago. Never walked again from a workplace accident, in a wheelchair, but now he speaks all around the world, especially in the health and safety arena. Wonderful guy, wrote his book. It was such an honor. And then he kindly put a bit in the back of his book for me to say, I've used Sam, and which was really nice of him. But great. Yeah, you're generally unknown. Yeah. So I do tell people I ghostwrite quite a lot, because the only way I've got of promoting it, really.
Yeah. But sort of the beauty of that is that all of it, and we definitely are some of the hidden kind of secret behind the
yes.
kind of people.
Yeah.
And I think there's something really beautiful about knowing that your babies, if you like, are out in the
world. Absolutely. Yeah.
Difference.
Yes.
But that's because you're aligned to your purpose, which is why it's all in flow, because
that's it.
You get the gratitude from the individual writers, but I'd love that rather than have the exposure of being known and being like celebrity.
Yeah.
I quite like to have all the successes on my belt and no one knows.
Well, this is my word. I can just go. I can go shopping at Sainsbury's without any problems.
Yeah.
Back to my little mini stalker moment at the weekend. Quite kind of weird, but in a good way, obviously you're one of the choices available, and there are other people who do what you do. So now that people have more of a sense of it, I can imagine that there might well be some people even in the community who are going, oh, actually, do you know, I hadn't really given it serious consideration, but now I am. So what would you suggest that they think about? What are the things that they should look for or ask questions of when they are looking to choose the ghostwriter? Because it's obviously a very personal relationship.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think, do they have any knowledge of what you're writing about? Maybe, because you can research, but obviously I think especially when it comes to what I call things of the heart, if they've been through something similar, they're going to have that individual experience. How you get on with that person, do you resonate? Is the synergy? I think that's really important. It is a very close relationship, and it's generally the book takes about between 3 and 4 months. 3 and 4 months to write.
And that's from when they have that first interview with you to finish writing it. Oh, that's quite
it is quite quick. Well done,
is
you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Is that average or is that you?
I don't know, to be honest. I think some people
doesn't know. It's really
some people take longer. I wrote my own book incredibly quickly. 16 days, my book flooded out of me. That's obviously I knew my content. I work quite closely. I like to create that. I like the consistency, because I really do get into their character.
Life,
it's like it is
quite intense.
You're seriously a method actor for books. It's really cool.
You can't be playing more than one role in that thing, because you'll just get
and I never write more than one book at a time. I'd never do that, because I don't think it's fair on the client, and I don't think my head would stand it either.
Well, hey, listen, on your terms, right?
That's right.
Busting a couple of myths as well, because I know the post that was up last week completely
randomly,
but the lady, I think it's a lady that posted it up, said that she was being quoted about
the cost,
£25,000.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So what are the average figures for people to get their head around?
Well, when I researched at the start, people who are just going into this, generally they charge around £4,000. Obviously this is sterling I'm talking about.
Sure.
And then it can go up and up and up, and around 15,000 seem to be the kind of happy medium. But I do know that people who go, you know, writing for celebrities, you know, you can go over the 100,000 mark easily, which sounds incredible. It is a lot of work. And then I suppose it's like in business, isn't it? It's, if you're writing for a celebrity, that's probably a drop in the ocean to them. But
of course, yeah,
sure.
it's all
Relative, right?
But you've got to
that's right. Yeah.
This is it. You know, how, if you were doing, I don't know, if you want to do an hour a day writing, for like 3 months or so, and then you know your hourly rate of what you'd be charging out as a coach or speaker or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, and also the business is so much more enhanced because the way that you're bringing out those stories and adding those extra elements to it.
Well, it's really interesting for me because, and it's an angle that weirdly I hadn't thought about, but of course is obvious now I'm thinking about it, is, you know, there are probably a lot of, you know, because this is for speakers, authors and coaches, I suspect that there are a lot of writers / wannabe authors or authors who actually don't want to be in the limelight, who are going, hang on a minute, I hadn't actually thought about this at all, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So thank you, because it's a byproduct that I just hadn't considered until you just said what you said. But of course, this is a beautiful way to make use of your talents, which is exactly what you're doing, and you're a beautiful demonstration of that. You really
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
A lot of people say they want to write for a living.
Yeah.
And to be a writer of your own books
and get paid, you know, if you're you've got a £10 book, and whether you
that's it,
10% royalties, so
you've
got a lot of 10p.
That's right.
No, it's amazing.
It's a way of writing books for a living.
I hadn't thought of that either.
No, it was just as you were talking, I was like, oh my word. So you know,
it is very different. It's very, very different. So I think you've got to be very good at getting the information out of the person.
And I think that bit which you said, which is really important, because quite a lot of writers are quite insular. But the fact that you love people and you love interviewing people and that journalist side.
That's a big part of it.
That's a big part, isn't it?
Down to the gel that you have with the person that you choose, which is why I was, you know, really kind of just focused on. So, you know, for those of you who don't know, On Your Terms, we actually we talk about On Your Terms is actually a sense check. You know, is it the right time, energy, reason, money and skills that the person in front of you has as they're actually kind of doing it. So
what time is it in Australia? James just joined from Australia.
Morning, good night, midnight, whatever it is,
middle of the night.
Something. Wow, she's a nighttime
writer on the line.
So really, top tips, like when do I know that it's time for me to write my book? Or for you to write my book?
Well, this new client, he's a coach. He's quite new to it, and from all he's learned in business, he's like stepped back and he's thought, okay, how am I going to get noticed in this crowded marketplace? And even though when you're in the business world, it can feel like everybody's got a book, they haven't. I forget the statistics now, but it is still quite a small figure. So to have your book, I mean, it is a lot of perception, but it elevates you, positions you in your marketplace. But I think if you use your story, I just think that's even more powerful.
Especially
absolutely, yeah. And I think I think if you're at the start of your journey, then I think it's a very powerful thing to do.
It's great.
We've got Melissa's from Melbourne. It's 8:30 p.m. 11. So
wow,
who's on the line?
Global.
Nice to see you, honey. Cool. So
how can people get in touch with you? Like, I'll put some links up to your page. Let me do that now for you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I don't happy for people to, if they want to friend request, that's fine by me. And just
in the hub as well, so you're in the connection.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can just have a conversation and ask whatever you like. I'm very open. That's probably another thing for the ghostwriting. Very open. I'm non-judgmental as well. Very non-judgmental. So yeah, just reach out to me, whether it's through my page, through the hub, through my profile, and we'll just have the conversation. And I'd love to help.
You definitely had light bulb moment's gone off for us in this, so I'm sure.
No, I've written your 2 names down now with big ticks.
We're on a list.
Already manifestation out there.
Yeah. I feel a trip to Leicester coming on at all. That's okay. We can go and see Leah as well, so it's all good. So thank you.
No, thank you.
For all of you, you know, sort of, even if you're at the end of this and you enjoyed it, do a hashtag replay if you haven't already. Ask your questions, tag each one of us, tag Sam, just so that the questions come up, even if it's weeks later from when we actually did this, because people will come back and answer, you know, sort of whatever's going on. So we love to know what you get out of it and ask your questions.
And what you're thinking of writing.
I know.
Someone else to write for you.
That's really rather good. Because hopefully we've got you thinking that actually, could I save myself some time and energy and do something that I didn't think was possible for months, and actually bring it forward so I can build my business differently, that's in a way that's on my terms. So thank you for opening up opportunity, Sam. You're amazing.
No, you're welcome. No, thank you, you 2 ladies as well, for creating this opportunity.
You're welcome. We'll see you soon.
Have a great week.
Okay.
See you next week.
Okay, yeah, take care. Bye. Thank you.